You guys saw Nick did a video recently where he talked about 5 things he wished he'd known before getting into this awesome hobby of comic book collecting. That made me think, what are 5 things that I wished I had known? Because I know that there are definitely some things, and the ones that he mentioned were definitely right up there. But I was able to come up with a few more, so I wanted to bring these to you guys and see what your thoughts are on these. And maybe if someone's watching this who's thinking about getting into the hobby, it's just something you can keep in mind, some things to be aware of and watch out for. Number one, if you find that you got an in, something that you see that you might want to collect that they make comic books for, and you're like, well, you know what? They make comic books for Dragon Ball Z. Nick likes Dragon Ball Z. You're thinking to yourself, I'm just going to collect this series of Dragon Ball Z. I'm going to get all of these books. I have a list of them. I'm going to find these, grab these, and I'm going to have them and be done. Oh, no, 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 no. That is not how this goes. That is not how this goes. I've not met anyone yet who said to me that they made a plan to collect only these certain books, get in and get out. No, once you're in, you're in. Okay, this is like it's like the NWO back in the 90s, you know, it's for life, man. You're not getting out of this that easily. You're never going to be finished, because once you collect the Dragon Ball Z run that you're looking for, you're going to find, oh, there's a volume 2, or, oh man, you know what, there's this series now, and then that's going to bring you into finding another series, and it's just going to snowball over and over and over. Until the next thing you know, you've got thousands of books and you have no idea how this happened. You just wake up in the floor crying in your comic book room one day, wondering where it all went wrong. All that to say, it's still awesome. It's still awesome, and you're going to have tons of stuff that you're going to be happy with as long as you're buying stuff that you love. So it's not a negative thing, but it's just something that, you know, I was a little naive to, because I thought I was just going to collect like one small short box of books and be done. Told my wife, I'll never fill this box up. Boy, was I wrong. Number 2, collecting comic books. Not only is it something you're never going to be done with, but it's going to open you up to tons of other avenues of collecting. Nostalgia will kick in eventually. I started collecting comic books, just comic books, and Nick was the same way. And the next thing you know, we're both getting into Funko Pops and figures and manga, and it just never stops. I mean, I've branched out into so many things now. I'm looking at my wall, looking around my room. I've got arcade systems. I've got posters. I've got props. I've got original artwork. I've got limited art pieces. We've got hardcovers, trade paperbacks, Hot Wheels cars with Captain America on it. I've got a Captain America helmet. It just never stops. I've got a Ninja Turtle, NECA Ninja Turtle Raphael this tall. It's gonna open you up to other avenues of collecting, and it's gonna be something that is gonna feed straight through your nostalgia vein. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something you gotta definitely think about. And you know, I never did. I never thought that buying a few comic books here and there would lead to everything that I have here. It is absolutely insane. I actually had to reel myself in at one point and say no more Funko Pops and no more figures for right now. I gotta concentrate on the comics and things that like I really, really want, because it's easy to blow your budget. Which brings us to number 3. Be careful, because it's so easy in this hobby to blow your budget. You get really excited, you start finding things, especially if you're surfing eBay, you start finding deals on this, and then you buy it and you're like, man, I got such a great deal on that, that's so awesome. And then you're scrolling the next day and you find another deal and you can't pass that one up, so you buy that one too. And the next thing you know, it's Wednesday, you're in the shop, you're getting your new comic book day pull list, they got some new books on the wall. There's another great deal, you gotta have that. I mean, it just can get really out of hand if you're not just absolutely 100% disciplined and set a budget and stick to it. It's so easy to blow that budget. You gotta watch out for that one. Number 4, how to find a deal on a comic book. So I talked about blowing your budget because you're finding great deals on books, but how do you actually know if it's a great deal? You might see 5 listings on Facebook for a certain book at a certain price. You go to eBay and you see it for this at a certain price, and you buy the one that looks like it was the lowest, but come to find out those were all like way overpriced anyway. Check the eBay sold listings. That's the best way right now that I have found to see if I'm really getting a good deal, because there can be a book listed on eBay by 5 different sellers at $4,000, but the most recent sale in an auction went for less than $3,000. So sometimes it pays to wait and try to jump in on the auctions to get the better deal. Now, if it's just something you have to have, like you just got to have that book, and you got it like that, like you're the guy that goes to the ice cream truck, buys 3 of them, throws 2 in the trash on the way back to the house and eats the other one, hey, go on ahead and do it. But definitely learn how to search eBay sold history to find the best prices on books, because you go to a ComiKon, unless you can wheel and deal, unless you have that gift of gab and the ability to wheel and deal or even do some trading, I would say 75% of the time, stuff at cons is priced a little high. So you have to be able to wheel and deal, because they price it there for a reason, because they know jokers like me are going to come in there and I'm going to beat them over the head for at least 10-15 minutes until I get the price down to where I want it or where I feel comfortable paying for it. It doesn't always happen that way, but there are plenty of resources and tools out there that you can use to find out what the best price for a book is, where about the book is running right now with the market, which is crazy anyway. But definitely knowing how to find a deal, making sure you're not overpaying for stuff all the time, because I did that a lot. I know Nick did that a lot when we first started. Sometimes we do it now, but if you do it now, after you've been in it for a while, it's usually for something that just doesn't come around very often, and you got to have it. And number 5, this one is super important, because this is again something Nick and I both went through and had to deal with, and finally we were able to get this under control, and that's falling for the hype. You can't always fall for the hype, guys. You know, YouTube personalities here trying to tell you right now, everything you see on YouTube, all this hype build up all the time, this book's hot, this book's gonna be hot, this book's gonna make you $1 million. It's not always the case. It's not always the case. You talk to some of these guys that, not just hype guys, but I'm talking about the guys that do the buying and the reselling, and they will tell you, I've had conversations, these guys are my friends. I've had conversations with these guys where, you know, they'll buy tons and tons of one series. The next week they'll buy another ton of this series, and then 3 or 4 weeks later they'll do it again. So they might have, several $100s tied up in 3 series. One of them might pan out, and these guys are just taking a hit on the rest. And I've had these conversations with some of my buddies, and these guys are much better at it than I am. That's why I don't do it, because I could be good at it, but it takes so much time and so much diligence, and these guys do that, and they're really good at it. But trying to keep up with the spec game and the hype game and all that, man, it is just something that is just, you got to be careful with. You got to be careful with. You can't just listen to everything everyone's telling you. You got to go with your heart. You got to go with your gut, and you got to do the research. Always do the research. Do not just go buy something based on what you're seeing on the top 10 hot books this week. Go do your research. Go see what this book's actually selling for. Go see what it was selling for a month ago, what it was selling for a couple of weeks ago. Follow the trend. See if it's actually going up. See what's pushing that trend. Definitely do your research, and don't just get caught up in the hype train, because that joker will run you over, stop, pump the brakes, hit reverse, and hit you again on the way back. It's done it to me several times, Nick as well. It's something where if you don't have the time to put in the effort and the diligence, the due diligence to make sure you feel really good about what it is that you're putting your money into, that hype train can get you. It can definitely get you. So not saying that doing that kind of stuff is bad, not at all. Like I said, got plenty of friends that do it, and they're really good at it. What I'm saying is, don't get caught up without knowing exactly what you're getting into. Do your research. Don't go into it blind, because that's never ever going to work out. Maybe once in a while, but you're going to get burned a lot. You're going to get burned a lot. So do your research. before you get caught up in the hype train, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is just another 5 things that I wish I knew before getting into the hobby of comic book collecting. Please, guys, drop some comments. Let us know, what are some more things you wished you had known? Do any of these resonate with you guys? If we have some new collectors out there, was this something that's helpful? Also, if we have new collectors out there, please, we'd love for you to check out our Roadmap to Comic Book Collecting series. You can find that playlist here on our channel. It's a series that we formatted specifically to help new collectors. So please check that out as well. Guys, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and as always, collect your way.